Vinyl friends, hey, we've got another one coming at you. And this one, this is our hoedown,
Top five ranked.
top 5 ranked. we struggle with what to call it.
The marketing department it needs some people.
Some tweaks.
Anyway, this is our ranking of Kiss's non-makeup era.
Because we've already done the makeup rank.
We did. And, Kiss in the 80s was a band that had taken over the world and, gone up and up and up and up. And then members start falling out of the band, and drugs and alcohol and relationships start pulling them apart. And then for a band like Kiss that was so identifiable, because honestly, Kiss was kind of like the Beatles, because people knew the 4 members' names, they knew their faces. And can you imagine if after the Beatles became like the biggest thing in the world, if George Harrison was like, "No, I'm out of here." You know what I mean? That's what happened with Kiss. It happened with their drummer and it happened with their guitarist. So they have to bring replacement dudes in. So that's a pretty tall order to keep that career going in the midst of all that like shuffling around. But they did it. And I've always been very forgiving with bands like this, like Van Halen changing lead singers. I was totally open to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of seemed heartbreaking at first, but did you catch him? Need some chopsticks.
Yeah.
But, I knew Kiss. Like in 1980, I was 6. So Kiss still had the makeup on and was still deteriorating. But I will never forget the first time that I heard, I think it was Heaven's on Fire from Animal Eyes. And I was like, oh, Kiss is back. So Kiss is, it's kind of crazy. They've been 3 bands.
They really have, yeah.
And you weren't really a fan at the time, right?
No, it was weird because, I like Kiss, but I didn't love Kiss.
Yeah.
And they were just, they were a band that kind of straddled, rock and kind of this theatrics.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I just never really took them seriously.
Yeah. And a lot of people didn't. A lot of people, they came about in the era of like the early 70s, so Led Zeppelin is still going strong, Aerosmith, Eric Clapton. So many, but no more Beatles, right?
Yeah.
So the world needed that next superstar band.
Yeah.
And I just think it would have been interesting to be living through that and not really be interested in Kiss, But anyway, I know that it's not technically a studio album, but I'm going to say the number 5 Kiss non-makeup era album is Kiss's Unplugged. And let me bring that up here. This is one that I remember when this came out. I was at Ball State. This came out in 1996 and released as part of the Unplugged series that MTV did. It's the first Kiss live album that is not part of the Alive series, just so you know. So in August of 1995, Kiss, which was Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Eric Singer, and Bruce Kulick, played on the Unplugged series, and they invited Peter and Ace to come play a couple songs with them. Lo and behold, the album is fantastic. The performance is awesome. It's acoustic Kiss played so well, and Ace and Peter are back.
It's everything you want.
It's everything you want. And I remember when this was announced and when it was happening, and it was released in 1996, which was my senior year of college. I'm like, I'm finally going to get to see Kiss, because what they ended up doing was, Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick were out and Ace and Peter were back. And they did the Alive Worldwide tour starting in 1996, and I saw them 4 times on that tour. But this album was kind of the spark that lit the fire.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this album. This album is fantastic.
Every one of those unplugged albums is so well done.
It is. And you know, some of them are like a reminder of what the original music is, and some of them, like Kiss, it's just such a different sound and arrangement with acoustic guitars. It's really exciting. So I would put Kiss Unplugged at number 5.
That's a good one. It needs to be in the top 5.
It needs to be in the top 5? I think so too. We're probably going to get some arguments from people. Now, number 4 is going to be controversial, because number 4 is Carnival of Souls, which is the album that Kiss had recorded when Kiss Unplugged happened, and it kind of got shelved because Unplugged happened. There was this uproar about, you know, wanting a Kiss reunion, and the band got back together and they put the tour together. Carnival of Souls was the album that Kulick, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and Eric Singer had recorded to release. Now remember, this is the mid-90s, so you know, we're still kind of in the grunge era. We're still kind of, you know, everything was kind of trying to sound like that, to get played on radio and to still be played on MTV and all that stuff. This album is grunge Kiss, and I love it. When it came out, I loved it. It's just such a departure for them, but it got shelved, and finally it was released in 1997. It's the band's final album with Kulick and Eric Singer. And Eric Singer came back when they did an album called Sonic Boom in 2009. But, you know, the songs on here, Hate, Rain, Master and Slave, I Will Be There, Jungle is the only single that was released from this album. But if you have not listened to Carnival of Souls, go give it a listen, and it's Carnival of Souls, the final sessions being the final recording with Kulick and Singer. So that's number 4. Now, the first album that they did without makeup was not Unmasked. It was Lick It Up. And this would be my number 3. They brought Vinnie Vincent in. He was kind of a shredder, kind of like a wannabe Eddie Van Halen kind of dude. I've never really understood the cover here. I mean, it's black and white. Everybody's got black and white and leather on, and here's Vinnie with a purple
cardigan,
purple shirt and a nice big belt buckle. But he brought a new energy to the band, and he also brought a lot of turmoil to the band. So, and he co-wrote music with them as their career went on. Very talented dude, just kind of hard to figure out. And he wasn't with the band for very long.
Yeah, I remember when this album came out. It was not really on my radar, but it was one that's like, oh, Kiss is coming back.
Yeah, and you can't deny how great the song "Lick It Up" is.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, do you know where did that song make it?
Let's see. It's the
because
sorry.
that was in '83. The single came out.
Yeah. Let's see. It's the 11th album by Kiss. Came out in 1983. The band members appeared on MTV without their trademark makeup, and it was the first public appearance without makeup by the band, and their first for Mercury Records, where they had been signed following their departure from Casablanca. The album was certified platinum for selling over a million units. So, you know, they were kind of
did well.
Yeah, they were getting that taste of success back. Let's see here.
I think Lick It Up hit number 3.
It did it? Okay. Well, that's pretty great. You know, you've got Exciter, Not for the Innocent, Lick It Up, Young and Wasted, Gimme More, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Fits Like a Glove, Dance All Over Your Face. I mean, it's just kind of basic, back to basics, guitars, drums, bass, and vocals.
Yeah.
So And I love the cover too. I mean, you've got Gene Simmons doing his trademark tongue thing, but no makeup.
No makeup.
So that's a big one. So that's number 3. The second of the top 5 is Animalize. And Animalize is the 12th album by Kiss, released in September of 1984. It marked the only appearance by lead guitarist Mark St. John. So after Vinny left, Mark St. John came in. He ended up having issues, like arthritic issues with his hands.
Carpal tunnel.
Something.
Yeah.
And that's the only album he played on. And he only played on a few shows, or maybe even just one show. And then after he left the band is when Bruce Kulick came in. And Bruce Kulick, he and his brother Bob played on the touring band for Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell.
Oh.
So a little tie-in there. But anyway, the big song from this is Heaven's on Fire, and it became a huge hit. The video for Heaven's on Fire, actually, Mark St. John is in that. And I'm reading here, he actually played 2 full shows. And then Bruce Kulick came in and saved the day. And
another album by Kiss, certified platinum.
Yeah, multiple. I'm sure this one's way up there.
Yeah.
Heaven's on Fire became such a huge song. I remember it was when I was still going to skating rinks. And, you go to your parents take you to the skating rink, drop you off, come pick you up 6 hours later, and you've just been skating around in circles listening to music. But I think the first time I heard Heaven's on Fire might have been at Big Red Barn.
Nice.
Skating rink. But yeah, this would be my number 2 for Kiss's Ranked.
That's
and the number 1, and I've talked about this before, is Kiss Asylum, which is the album that came out after Animalize. And the reason that I like Asylum is because it was Bruce Kulick's debut with the band on record. And it's just got such an energy and a heaviness, and the songs are really great. The cover is kind of controversial because it has each of the guys, and we don't have it here because my copy of Asylum seems to have just evaporated.
Or disappeared in your collection.
It's
the
another...
collection
It's another one of my
consumed it.
records that I can't find, and it's really, really bothering me. But anyway, the cover of this kind of looked like a portrait of each of them, but each of their lips was colored like a different 80s shade, and people didn't like that. That kind of turned them off. But, the King of the Mountain, Any Way You Slice It, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Trial by Fire, I'm Alive. The big one off of Asylum is Tears Are Falling. And that was kind of a phenomenon in a lot of ways, like Heaven's on Fire was. But I've always loved Asylum just for its heaviness and its pop sensibility. And it really kind of, after Animalize got them back on track, Asylum kind of kept that train going and, got them through the 80s. They kind of regained their career, but by the time the 90s came, everybody's career was struggling that was playing rock and roll. But yeah, Kiss is just one of those bands, man. They're like cats. They've had multiple lives, and they've managed to land on their feet every time.
Yep.
And, as I get older, I appreciate them a lot more. And the music, 3.5 minute pop song or a 3.5 minute rock song that sticks in your head. It's pretty great.
That's good.
Yeah. But we want to thank all of you for watching. We want you guys to go to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. We want you to
like and comment.
Yes. And we want you to give us other bands to do top 5s of, or top 5 albums, or top 5 songs on an album, like we did with the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
We know how much Wheels loved that, but we want you to have that communication, that 2-way communication with us. And, we just want you guys to enjoy your music. Being able to do the show like this takes us into our music and our collection in ways that we never would have gone in the first place. So for Wheels, who is this guy right over here, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.